friends, welcome to Technique. This is Normal here, and in this video we'll be doing a detailed camera review of the new iQOO Z5. So iQOO Z5 is the second smartphone from iQOO under the Z series, and this device comes with a 64 megapixel triple camera setup. Along with that you also get a 16 megapixel selfie camera. So in this video we'll be looking at how good the quality of the iQOO Z5 is in terms of camera. So before getting started, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that red subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. So first let's have a look at the camera hardware. The phone comes with a 64 megapixel Samsung GW3 sensor, and it has f1.79 aperture. There is an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, a third 2 megapixel macro sensor. The front camera is a 16 megapixel shooter with f2.45 aperture. So let's see how the camera performs in this price segment. So first let's have a look at the daylight shots. In terms of daylight conditions, the 64 megapixel sensor does a good job in bringing details and sharpness levels too. The colors are quite good and saturation levels are controlled. Even the sky colors looks good, but the images aren't really bright and there is a bit of contrasty nature to it. The sharpness levels are quite okay, and this is evident when you pixel peep. The dynamic range is once again quite decent, but there are some areas where we felt it could have been a tad better as shadows were not really exposed. And this doesn't happen all the time. In terms of daylight conditions, while there is overall good quality offered, there is still room for improvement, but it won't disappoint most users. Now moving on to the 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, here you can see that the camera does a decent job in maintaining the details. The sensor does a good job with colors, and sharpness levels are also acceptable for an 8 megapixel shooter. Overall, the ultra wide angle camera came out quite decent. Now moving on to the close-up shots, the phone comes with pretty good imaging capabilities. Once again, the colors are quite okay and does not oversaturate. The sharpness levels are acceptable but not very impressive. The phone comes with a macro sensor and it produces decent results, not really the best in this segment. Moving on to the portraits. The images from iQOO Z5 came out good. The details are good and the skin tones are also decently done well. The sharpness levels are once again adequate and the edge detection seems to be pretty good too. Next up, the low light captures. The low light performance of the iQOO Z5's main camera is average at its best. In regular mode and indoor lighting condition, it produces a decent result, but when light drops further, the noise levels are higher and details go down. The night mode doesn't improve the photos drastically and ends up with average results overall. They aren't bad though, but when you look at the competition, this definitely looks average in terms of quality. Finally, the selfie camera. The 16 megapixel shooter does a good job with skin tones. The skin tones are quite good, but once again it is more of a personal choice. The sharpness levels and dynamic range also looks quite okay. Since selfies are more of a personal choice, you can judge based on the images shown. The phone also has portrait mode for selfies. Here the performance is poor and the edge detection also seems pretty poor. Moving on to the video recording. The phone can record 4K at 30 fps with EIS. The 4K footage looks decent in terms of quality. The sharpness levels are adequate and details are also quite okay. The stabilization is also quite decent for the price segment. The phone also supports 1080p at 60 fps here. Once again, the video quality looks decent, but there is no stabilization offered for this 60 fps footage. Now the 1080p resolution at 30 fps supports stabilization. Here again the quality is quite acceptable, although not class leading. The colors are good and details are also quite decent for the price segment it is being offered. The phone also comes with 1080p resolution for the ultra wide angle lens. Here again the quality is average and stabilization is also offered. The phone also supports slow motion and the quality is strictly average. It supports 1080p and 720p resolution, but not really usable. So this is the regular 1080p resolution video taken using the front camera on the iQOO Z5. So you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is. There is no stabilization until you turn on the steady face mode. So this is without the steady face mode. So this is the front facing camera sample taken with the iQOO Z5, and we have turned on the steady face option. So this will give you some stabilized footage for the front facing camera. So you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is and also the audio output from the video. So this is the dual video mode taken using the rear as well as the front camera. The layout can be changed, but once you start the recording, the layout can't be changed. So you have to set the layout before you start the recording. So there are multiple layouts options available for this dual video mode. So that is a detailed camera review of the iQOO Z5. So summing up, the camera on the iQOO Z5 has its positive, but definitely needs a lot more work in terms of fine tuning and improvement. The camera won't disappoint most users unless you are taking a lot of low light images. But having said that, the daylight shots are quite good, portraits and selfies, and the video recording also is decently done well. But the low light performance was definitely on the disappointing side. So that is a detailed review of the iQOO Z5's camera. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.